4 at the State Fair. Welcome back to the 9 to noon radio show. Followed today by Dan Cole, the Common Man, followed by Bumper to Bumper with Borrero at 3 o'clock. It's PA and Charch feasting on FM 100.3 KFAN. Is in front of the Minnesota Vikings season opener. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers from the NFC South will be in town. The Buccaneers will be led by Baker Mayfield. He will not have his preferred center, Ryan Jensen, who is out for the season. And Mike Evans wants a new contract. And this morning it was reported somewhere that if Mike Evans if the Buccaneers do not meet Mike Evans' demands by, I think it was the Saturday before the game, then all contract stuff is off the table. Want to focus on the season, the whole thing. So those are a couple of things developing with your old Buccaneers.
Mike Evans could be traded at some point. The Bucs are going to be bad. They shape up to be one of the 3 worst teams in the league.
Really?
Even
with that defense?
Yeah, it's just not enough juice in there, I don't think. Evans at this stage of his career, and it's been a great career. He's never had a season with less than 1,000 yards. This is a very good player. I think I could see him getting traded to a contender down the stretch. It's very possible, and maybe somebody that wants to give him that one last big contract that he'd like to get. So this time next week, we're going to be breaking down Vikes Bucs. We're going to be which Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oakdale. Buffalo Wild Wings. Oakdale.
And so I like. I think it's not too early to start looking at this one. You mentioned Ryan Jensen. Sad story because he's probably a Hall of Famer, Paul, in a very, very good career. He tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL last year, decided not to have surgery on it. He did one of those stem cell bits, did not have the surgery, and it didn't work. And now here we are a year later, and he's going to miss this year too. And that was an offensive line that
he might end up retiring, is what I read.
He might retire.
Could be game over.
Yeah, he's 32 years old. This might be it for him for a career. They've got a really good left tackle in Tristan Wirfs.
Yep.
Who's great. Everybody else on offensive line is a total question mark. And the Vikings, for the Vikings defensive line, it's also got a lot of question marks. If you can't be good here, it isn't going to get any easier the rest of the season. This is as promising an opportunity for the Vikings defensive line as we're going to see. And we'll have some interesting individual matchups, Paul. Chris Godwin is great. He lines up in the slot. Byron Murphy is the most seasoned cornerback and probably best cornerback that we've got coming in right now. That's a great individual matchup that we'll be watching. I like the Chris Godwin bit. Mike Evans, he'll play in this game, but who's going to take him? Mekhi Blackman and Caleb Evans. Blackman's small. Evans is a big, physical wide receiver. If this is going to be a Mekhi Blackman initiation to the league, week 1 as a starter, they're going to scheme Mike Evans against him because that is a physical mismatch.
But I mean, there have been Caleb Evans will start. So because Mekhi was playing in preseason and training camp, then he got himself. I mean, I guess he could win the job in a week and change. But
Evans v. Evans.
Yeah, this is not to say that Blackman will not play, but I would handle that premise moving forward, at least now, as Evans and Murphy, then Blackman coming in, Murphy going inside.
Now, we know that 3 cornerbacks and 4 cornerbacks are on the field a lot. I think Blackman's going to be on the field probably 30, 40 plays.
Oh, and nickel, he'll play.
Yep. And then, I think, like I said, they're going to try to scheme Evans against him as much as they can, and the Vikings are going to play pure man. So, I think that'll be 2 really interesting wide receiver matchups for the Bucs to watch. It's Baker Mayfield, of course. Mayfield is trying to resurrect his career. There's been good, there's been bad. Last year with the Rams, he came in with the Rams midweek.
That Thursday night game.
He came in like Tuesday, started the Thursday night game, and the Rams got an upset victory. Played well. There are things about Baker that suggest that he belongs in this league. If Kevin Stefanski passes on you, I'm worried about you in general. Stefanski let him go. But, Baker's got an opportunity to, reset his career and the narrative right here.
If first week of the season, U.S. Bank Stadium should be a massive advantage for the Minnesota Vikings. So therefore, with the audible level or the perception thereof of the crowd being palpable, and a defense where unpredictability and deception in this game has to be on your side, Baker and whomever, they can't possibly know what's coming with Flores as the defensive coordinator for the first time and personnel with whom he's never worked, and he blitzed like 3 times the whole preseason. I mean, all of that should lead, I don't want to say a flummoxing of Baker Mayfield, but I mean,
let's hope so.
It's going to be coming from all over the place, at least in the early stages of the game with the crowd. I mean, Baker should be up against it.
I hope
that's the expectation.
I hope that's the case. Their running back situation is interesting. They let Leonard Fournette go. Rachaad White is a second-year player who's going to be their lead back. But the more interesting storyline is behind him. Their preseason star, Sean Tucker, is a undrafted rookie running back who went undrafted because he wasn't able to participate in the combine because of a heart issue, and all the teams got all freaked out about this heart issue. But it's really not a factor, and he's looked awesome, and he might be their best running back. And it'll be interesting to get a first look at Sean Tucker as well.
I'm kind of excited. So the Bucs have hit really well with their first-round defensive picks over the course of time. That Troyan Shrinka, I forget what his name is, and then you got Vita Vea in the mix. Devin White, a linebacker. This year, it was the baby Aaron Donald cat, Kalijah Cansey.
Oh, wow.
That they took, and we're going to get to
see. Was that Penn State?
Pitt.
Pitt, yeah.
Hence the Aaron Donald comparison. So Vikings fans had talked about Kalijah Cansey being an option as a first round pick, and now he's coming off of a hamstring injury. So hopefully he's on the field for the first one. But I want to see that cat. That's what I love when we focus and obsess over the draft the way we do, running into the kids that we didn't draft that we get to see. So that aspect of the defense with the Bucs, I think they're going to be a lot stronger defensively than you were kind of mentioning earlier, which kind of leads to maybe a bit of a slog of a game in some respects.
And that is a week from Sunday, noon for the Boom on KFAN, and the pregame at 10 o'clock. The Minnesota Twins are at Texas for 3 beginning today, and we hooked some toughies from the Texas Rangers, 5 up on the Cleveland Guardians, Scherzer and Montgomery for the first 2. That and more with News du Nord when 9 to noon continues on KFAN.
Hey, to listen to the Fan. KFAN is broadcasting live at the 2023 Minnesota State Fair from Carousel Park, presented by Meshbesher and Spence. We'll be broadcasting live every day until September 4th, so come buy your favorite fan merch and learn about your shot to be the Meshbesher and Spence Rube of the Day and win a $200 Visa gift card from us. KFAN.com, keyword events for more info.
By the highway, waiting in the rain. Although the sun is shining, still it brings me pain. Hey, why people break up just to make up? Hey, baby, yeah.
The 9 to noon radio presentation continues from the Great Minnesota Get-Together. We are approaching the midway point. It is 10:19, and it's PA and Charch on FM 100.3 KFAN. Maxwell Fuller is guiding the Great Shibboleth Covenant from the 651 Carpets Plus studios adjacent to the Twin Cities. And Eric Nordquist, mad producer, he'll present News du Nord for us on a weekday-by-weekday basis, courtesy of the casino at Canterbury Park. Now, at Canterbury, we have 6 days remaining of live racing. We race Saturday at 5 o'clock, Sunday and Monday at 1. And this Sunday, we have what's known as the Best in Show. It's kind of a bark in the park. It's where all dog breeds that we race all summer, Charchie, well, they battle each other. So you got the Bulldogs trying to eat the Corgis, the Corgis running away from the Bassets, the Bassets tripping on their ears, and the Datsuns blowing by all of them. They race against each other, and quite honestly, it's ballyhooed.
This is. Would you say this is the highlight of your racing career?
Yes, it's as resume material goes. This, along with probably calling camels and/or ostriches.
Yeah, the ostrich
on Extreme Day.
Yeah,
and my Greg Joseph field goal call from 2021. Those three in no particular order. They go 1, 2, and 3.
Now, Scraps, I think, would have a fighting chance, but
Really?
you don't have like a mixed breed mutt rescue.
Well, at least officially we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I shared it yesterday. I swear a corgi showed up one time as like part corgi, part whippet, or part corgi, part cheetah.
That would be a corgi whippet crossbreed would be rather bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I could try to sneak Scraps into the Basset Hound. Now he's mostly Jack Russell, so there might be some tells.
Maybe
that not actually a Basset Hound, but we could try and just see if anybody actually raises their hand and goes, I don't know. You know, it's Minnesota nice. Everybody's going to know, but nobody's going to say anything.
And a week from today, we've had a concert series at Canterbury. A week from today, our final outdoor concert where Randy Hauser will be performing. If you're interested in tickets or if you're interested in joining us one of these final 6 days for live racing, canterburypark.com, which provides us with news du Nord.
A two-topic affair here at the State Fair, and we'll start with the game that took place last night, then we'll jump to the baseball team. Gophers kicked off the 2023 season last night. Gentlemen, we watched it Thursday night primetime. Huskers in town. Sold out, gold out, I believe was the phrase being thrown around. And, man, we had to wait a long time to see how this thing was going to play. 55 yards rushing for a team in the Gophers that loves running the ball a lot. That didn't work very well. Just 196 and a pick, including a beautiful touchdown by Callie McManus. Still room to go, but the defense in the second half shut down Jeff Sims and the Huskers. Game-winning field goal from Kesich, and the Gophers 13-10 beat Nebraska last evening.
Copyright Meat Sauce, Paul Lambert at Meat Sauce 1 via Twitter. For those of you who watched the game last evening, it's Sauce tweeted. Anybody have any, as paraphrasing, anybody know who Deion Sanders coaches? Because seriously, could they have shown the promo more frequently? Colorado and TCU this weekend. Here's Deion rolling in, wearing a 10-gallon hat, shining his belt buckle on some white horse, man. It was unbelievable.
For a team that is slated to win 3 games.
Are they going to be bad?
They're supposed to be bad.
Well, they turned over the whole roster, right?
Yeah. It's not an indictment of Deion. It's just that he's rolling into town. Everyone's fired up. Chili's hot with Brewster. And they're going to win probably 2, 3, 4 games at the max, and before he can turn that thing in the right direction.
He's getting so much attention. All right, and I understand it. I mean, because he's Deion Sanders.
It's Coach Prime, actually.
Coach Prime. and with, where was he last? Jackson State, maybe?
Jackson State.
Right. And, there was a documentary with that, and he pulled some kids out of some bad spots, got them in school, got them right and everything, stuff like that. When he plays certain teams who are just tired of hearing Coach Prime, seeing all the somebody's going to go Spurrier on him, where it's just like, you can't stop this, and you know what? They ain't going to put this in the promo, and they're just going to score and score and score. So maybe that'll be hopefully for him and that team. This is the only year that happens.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Deion. I
too.
want Deion to be very successful because it's great for college football if you've got kind of a celebrity head coach who's really good.
Well, I don't know what their entire legacy is, but growing up, Buffalo's football was sweet. And I was in the Cordell Stewart. That was kind of when I first started watching.
Yeah, Michael Westbrook.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're an eternal helmet school. I don't think you'd consider them that.
Eric Bieniemy was a really good running back for Colorado.
Oh, late 80s, right? Yeah. So Gophers 1-0, Eastern Michigan around the corner. For those listening to 9 to noon, or many of you in the audience will have Ryan Burns Gopher Illustrated on at 11.
But think about this with Colorado at TCU this weekend. Now, none of us claim to be devotees to college football. It's not that we don't like it. It's just we have other things going on Saturdays. And we got the NFL, with fantasy football for Charch and calling the games and stuff for me, and Nordo with everything he does. So we don't purposely not follow it. But there's zero chance this time last year We knew Colorado was at TCU. We knew TCU was ranked 17th.
Right.
We knew who the coach of Colorado was. And there's an outside chance, if we can remember, that we'll watch Colorado and TCU or just a little of it because of Prime.
I kind of want to see Prime.
See what I'm saying?
See what
and the Huskers are at Prime a week from Saturday as their second road game. So that's their home opener in Boulder, man. That's
Do you guys remember, I know you're old enough, Paul. Nebraska football was absolutely dominating year in, year
the
out.
Osborne days.
Yeah, the Osborne days, and it's just hard to fathom now how far that program has dropped. And I know it wasn't like an instant overnight failure, but they were basically Alabama for 20 years. Osborne.
Remember when Texas had, and we were really young, but you'll remember the names, Johnny Ham, Lamb, and Jam Jones for the wide receivers.
Johnny Lamb Jones.
Yeah, but then there was Johnny Ham Jones and Johnny Lamb Jones, and Tommy Frazier ran the option for Tom Osborne's.
Yes.
And Grant Wistrom, remember him? He played for Nebraska. How about the Pony Express for SMU? Remember the Pony Express?
Eric Dickerson
into.
Don't know.
Craig James.
Yeah,
played for the Patriots, had a wonderful career.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some badass backfields back in the day.
Well, they fired Bo Pelini. It was kind of where Glenn Mason, because I think Pelini gets fired. They're winning 9 games. They're competing, but they're not getting over the hump.
Yeah.
And now they've had this disastrous coaching tenure, short tenures since. So, but Nebraska, maybe Matt Rule's the guy. Now to the baseball team quickly. News to Nord brought to you by the casino at Canterbury Park. They open up a series this weekend in Texas, and things are getting a little greasy. They lose 2-3 to the Cleveland Guardians. We got Joe Ryan making his way back to health on the mound today, and then it's Dallas Keuchel and Kenta Maeda in the weekend. They get Scherzer, Montgomery, and Gray on the bump for them. This is an elite stat that I found on my own here regarding the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers and all those home runs that we saw last weekend when we faced the Rangers, the last 2 weeks with this high-end offense, supposedly a 689 OPS and a 231 team batting average, which is 19th and 21st respectively.
Yeah.
So if we can keep them inside the fences, which was trouble a week ago, a chance in which we absolutely, in my opinion, need 2 of 3. Now the Guardians are hosting the Rays, so if the Rays just mash, then that kind of evens things out. But the next 6 games, with so few to go, 5 teams or 5 games separating the two, it's getting very meaty. And do you remember the claim process I was talking with you about a couple of days ago? All those
who got Giolito? Tampa Bay.
No, the Guardians took everybody.
The Guardians? Oh, really?
Yeah.
And by the way, Mouse put me on this because he heard us talking about it the other day, and I hadn't looked at Giolito like the last 2 months. He's been horrible. I mean,
yes,
he gave up 9 runs to somebody, gave up a 7.
Yep.
It's I'm not saying I still wouldn't take him, but nevertheless, Giolito to the Guardians, you say.
So the Guardians had a higher claim number and an advantage over the Twins. Mm-hmm. And apparently in the Major League Baseball claiming process, it's not just like a waiver wire in fantasy. I take one guy and that's my waiver.
No, you get as many as you cracks as
many
right?
as they want.
Yeah.
So they got technically the 3 most highly touted of the available pitchers that were released by the Angels: Matt Moore, Ronaldo Lopez, and Lucas Giolito. So are they just trying to block the Twins? These are all very, very fractional salaries that they're taking on over the course of a month of the season. But the Twins put in claims, didn't get anybody. So who we have is who we have.
Yeah.
And we're in the home stretch of the regular season.
Yep, and they're 5 up, and Scherzer and Montgomery. I mean, this is why they made trades for Scherzer and Montgomery, to win games like this, talking about the Texas Rangers, a team we could hook in the first round with that weird wild card thing.
That's the key. They're battling both Houston and Seattle right now in the West. So.
That's News du Nord into the second half of the Friday football feast when 9 to noon continues on
PA on the Fan.
Join the Power Trips Chris Hockey at the grand opening of Bach to Rock in Minnetonka on Saturday, September 9th at noon. Come tour the new location, plus there's great prizes to be had. More info at KFAN.com, keyword events.
9 to Noon Radio is in the air. It's 10:35. Ryan Burns, the publisher for Gopher Illustrated, he chronicled and covered and analyzed the Gophers' 3-point victory last evening over the Nebraska Cornhuskers at Huntington Bank Stadium. We start 1-0, and Bo Hunting Burnsy will be here at 11 o'clock to break off some interesting nuggets from the game. Speaking of interesting nuggets, with the Tolstoy that Paul Charchian is kind enough to send 9 to Noon weekly with topic suggestions, that their part of it had some proposition wagers or proposition odds involving the Minnesota Vikings. And I thought this was really, really cool. Like quick twitch. I mean, I'll go through a few, and quick twitch with a why or why not. Is this something in which you guys would be interested?
Yeah.
The first one would be Alexander Mattison leading the National Football League in touchdowns scored. Whew. Most rushing touchdowns, that is. Mm-hmm. Madison, most rushing touchdowns, 25-1. 25-1. What y'all think of that?
Well, I would be out on it just because of how this team operates, and in whether it's short yardage on third downs, even short yardage inside the 5 in particular.
Yeah.
The inability to get a push with how this offense, we've seen Jalen Reagor in motion getting handoffs. JJ had a rushing touchdown at one point last year. I don't see, when you think about Austin Eckler and the way that some of these other teams use their guys specifically inside the 5, I would be out at 20, even 25-1, which is sweet. I'd be out on it.
If they played the season 25 times, would Alexander Mattison lead the NFL one time in touchdown?
In rushing touchdowns?
I would say no.
Wow.
25's a lot.
Yeah, I'd say yes. If they did it 25 times, yeah.
So that's where I can be swayed, because the 25-1 is just
for like a $10 bet.
Yeah, it would not put a lot on this. Nordo hit on the big thing that worries me. Inside the 5, the Vikings had the 5th lowest run rate last year. KOC inside the 5 schemes his tight ends and his wide receivers. So I just think you're trying to go upstream a little bit with Alexander Mattison.
Here's this, though. I will say Vikings, of all things, with this offense, 28th in attempts, 7th in overall rushing touchdowns a year ago.
Yeah, how about that?
So in terms of where they were getting them, now some of that's Dalvin, of course.
Kirk turned in the corner against the Cards.
There you go.
Marcus Golden left in the dust.
Yeah, this guy shake.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Shaking on.
I ultimately would still be out of it. Maybe I'm more bullish on the idea if it was done 25 times, certainly. But no, I don't see Madison.
What about this one? Kirk Cousins will have the most passing yards in the National Football League, 10-1. You get 10. Now, Kirk had 44-ish, 100 yards last year, something like that.
Which isn't that far off league leader.
Now, the signature free agent move, well, outside of Byron Murphy, was Josh Oliver. And Josh has caught 2 touchdowns in his career. So he's a run-blocking tight end, which indicates that they're going to be running and doing different things with bully ball with Oliver. So does that factor into Buzz?
Interesting.
Leading the National Football League in receiving yards. I thought it'd be a little higher, but I think 10-1's pretty square. What you think, Matt, producer?
So Patrick Mahomes led the league last year with 52-50 through the air.
Good Lord.
Kirk was 4th in the NFL with 45-47.
Hey.
So just about 700 yards.
Yeah.
Mahomes had a 8.1 yards per attempt, and Kirk had 7.1. If you added that extra yard to his yards per attempt,
that might be enough.
They're within 50 yards of each other.
Wow.
Looking at it right now.
Wow.
So can we see more explosion in the passing offense? Can we see Kirk in a contract year being healthy and playing all the games as he has, save for being bit a couple seasons ago?
Yeah. But see, Charch,
I would take a piece of the 10-1.
See, I recall Charch, because I have all of his albums, putting Mahomes on something less than that 5 and change, because, as you put it, without McCole Hardman now with the Jets, And Juju Smith-Schuster, where'd he go, or is he still there?
Juju's gone. New England.
Yeah, New England. Wow, how's he possibly going to get around that? So maybe Kirk can blow right by Mahomes. That's your big take, right?
You're almost betting, really, when you look at Kirk Cousins for the most passing yards, 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're really betting, is Patrick Mahomes going to get hurt? Because if he doesn't get hurt, it's pretty hard to make that scenario.
Yeah.
But if he misses even 2 games, 3 games,
right?
Game on. Kirk's got as good a chance as anybody.
What is the Chiefs? It's Pacheco and who else running the ball?
Well,
because the Justin Ross cat, the oft-injured Clemson kid,
yep.
Everyone was hot on him in training camp.
Yeah.
Sky Moore. Can he evolve?
Yep.
And Kadarius Toney.
Can he stay healthy?
In fairness to 5 straight AFC title games, 3 Super Bowls, 2 of them in the rings.
Yep.
Can they continue to make that work if no one? Because Juju was a massive part of the passing game when he was able and healthy last season. Now they don't have him, and
they got Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
They do. For his one bomb a month that he comes down with and disappears for every other game.
I like Sky Moore.
I do too, and I've been drafting him in a few leagues because there's if you're going to have 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards every year, Travis Kelce can only do so much.
Yeah.
He's still mortal.
Yeah.
So you feel like somebody's got to eventually fill that Tyreek Hill void they've been waiting on for a couple of years. Sky Moore's got that chance.
What about
a piece of that?
Is it Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah, he's third string now. McKinnon would be the backup.
Jerick McKinnon, that's right. Is the former Buck Ronnie Allen still with them, or Ronnie Jones?
Ron Jones is gone.
Okay.
Yep.
So, would you get some of that 10-1? Who said that?
I'm in.
You get a little bit of that 10-1?
I'm in.
All right, so it's mythical bankroll $1,000.
I'd put 100
If I got $1,000, I'd throw 50.
Throw 50 on that of the grand.
5% of my bankroll.
Okay.
Kirk to win, to lead the league in passing yards.
Now, Justin Jefferson leading the National Football League in receiving yards.
This is actually receptions bet.
It's receptions, not yards.
Yes.
Thank you.
This one is receptions.
All right, so JJ leads the NFL in receptions plus 650. So you're getting 6.5 to 1.
Yeah.
Plus 650 here. What y'all going to do with that?
I might, just with the addition of Addison and the number of targets that TJ, you mentioned it, if he had played here all 17, it was like a buck
146
like
targets, yes.
You know, I think leads the NFL.
You're only getting 6 to 1.
Yeah, right. I thought it'd be a tiny bit higher. Well, and by the way, Cooper Kupp, man, he can't get out of his own way right now. I mean,
the hamstring bit.
Yeah, hamstring thing, and he there was another little thing, and then he pushed through it. Practice out, practice out, practice out. It's the old stop and start trick on a Cooper Kupp, but that plays into something like this. I think. I don't know what the odds are. Tyreek. I think Tua is going to throw to Tyreek 15 times a game. I know they have Jalen Waddle, but I think that's going to be more of the roundhouse knock you out. It's ever since Tyreek said, I'm going to have X amount of yards. He just basically, he kind of had an idea of something that was coming or different than the previous year.
Yeah.
That's just how I read between the lines. What do you think of that?
Well, so Tua's going to throw, whatever you said, 15 times to Tyreek Hill. For 3 weeks, what do you think about Mike White for the other, the balance of those 13 other weeks?
Mike White?
Yeah, Mike White.
What the hell are you talking about?
Because Tua's, like any play could be Tua's last.
Mike White was dynamite for the Jets against the Vikings, kept them in the game.
Everybody was dynamite against the Vikings.
So wait a second. So what's up with their starting quarterback, Tua? Tua till you're satisfied.
Whatever it is.
Tua till you're satisfied. So what's up with him?
Well, it's just it's the concussions. His next concussion is probably a season ender, if not a career ender. So that's the worry here, and that's why.
Okay.
So I can't bet on. I can't.
So are we betting JJ at 6.5 to 1?
No, the odds aren't good enough. And too many other options on this team because Jordan Addison's really good.
Well, odds ain't good enough.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Now,
not enough juice.
How about this at 11 to 1? The NFC North will finish exactly like this. Minnesota first, Detroit second, Green Bay third, Chicago fourth. 11 to 1.
Oh, I'm putting 100 on that.
That's superfecta right there. 4 singles.
Yep.
Minnesota, Kitties, Packers, Bears. 11 to 1, exactly like that.
Well, first of all, whether it was Kirk throwing for the most yards, it's this particular order has the Vikings winning.
I've been 100 on that.
If I'm going to put money on some of this stuff, specifically if it's Vikings related, I don't know if we're going to get to the Vikings under. That's also part of this list later.
Oh yeah,
but I cannot, because I'm a Rube and I'm an adult man child. I'm not going to bet my own money on the Vikings failing. That is a conflict of emotions for me.
But what about the emotional hedge that gives you? It gives you, like now you got a financial angle if the Vikings do falter.
How does one give oneself an emotional
hedge?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, an emotional edge is one thing, an emotional hedge.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Because your heart's in it for the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could use your pocketbook to offset some of the emotional hardship there would be if the Vikings have a bad year.
But the Vikings winning 14 or more means more to Nordo than money, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. See, so there is no emotional hedge.
How much money?
Well, I'm not betting mortgage payments.
Yeah.
Because I am also a fatalist and I know enough about the team to not do that. But I put money on that.
Yeah, back to this bet.
Chicago's gonna
Minnesota,
struggle.
Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago. Chicago's the worst team in the division by a fair margin, right?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a Grand Canyon gap between any team in this particular division.
Oh, I do.
We were talking about it during the NFC debate. I could very much see hoisting a banner with 10 wins, Chicago in the basement with 7. And it will come down to divisional records and things like that. I'm not as bought in and sold on Justin Fields making this massive mountainous leap into this season as many have touted over the course of the summer. It's got to mean more than just adding DJ Moore. But I don't think they're going to be awful either.
Bears are going to be bad. I think Lavelle got to you.
Defensively, they're going to be awful.
Lavelle got to you.
They might
when
be
you broke
No,
it.
this isn't Lavelle.
Wednesday, whatever. Yeah, he got to you. The Chicago's defense is still awful.
Okay.
They made only one signature move in the whole offseason. Tremaine Edmonds. That's it. This is still offensive line is still very much a work in progress.
Yeah.
Start the season without Tevin Jenkins. This is going to be
Chicago, well, then you're smashing the under 7.5 then, right? Smash.
I would go under.
Their over under is I think 7.5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So Chicago's going to be last. I think the Packers are clearly the third best team. Now it's just whether or not the Vikings or the Lions are going to finish first and second. You can give me 11-1 odds on Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, then Chicago.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting the best. I'm getting the bright odds on all of those teams.
Now you want 200, right?
I'm putting 100 on it.
You're putting 100 on it.
I'm putting 100
I'm with you. I'm matching your 100.
All right. Well, what about this at 17-1? 17-1 for this spotty. Jordan Addison, offensive rookie of the year. 17-1.
Bijan, though.
Yeah, Bijan, though.
Bijan.
Right. That's
no, I can't. And I like Jordan.
Do running backs ever win it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Rookie of the year, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna walk in there and get all the love and offense with Desmond Ridder. And Jordan Addison, by the way, looks the part. We should be really excited about this first round pick and what he's done. Bijan, though, I can't put a dollar on it.
17-1's fat.
If they played this season 17 times, Jordan Addison's winning this thing like 5.
Yeah,
that's why I
it's
like
so impossible to do that. That hypothetical, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it's actually not. It just makes us think too hard. It's a Friday. We're down to the final 4 segments. We got the weekend. It's going to be hot. So it's brilliant what you're doing.
I'm in on
too
this.
hard to think
I'm
about
putting
right
100 on Jordan Addison and rookie of the year. It's 17-1.
Okay.
There's so much juice.
All right.
In 17-1.
Well, then let's go to 2.5-1 or plus 275. Addison plus 275. That means if you put up $10 on this wager and you win, you profit $27.50. You scoop $37.50. That's what plus 275 means. Jordan Addison leads all rookies in receiving yards. So now we've eliminated Bijan from the equation.
Probably.
And we're getting plus 275. What y'all think about that?
It's him or Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Or Zay Flowers.
Who?
But Zay Flowers.
Oh, the Boston College kid.
Yeah. Oh, you said Jose Flowers.
I'm like,
Zay. Is that a new shortstop for Cleveland?
Zay.
Zay Flowers went to Baltimore, right?
Yes, he's in Baltimore.
So now Zay Flowers is no longer part of the conversation.
Well, why? Because Rashad Bateman's going to catch all the passes with Mark Andrews?
Well, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Odell Beckham Jr. Is going to get the OBJ quota.
Now,
Zay
Flowers is the rookie's name?
Yeah.
Nordo, Nordo, do you know when Zay Flowers got drafted by Baltimore? Before he came to rookie camp, do you know what he did? He spent a week catching baseballs and footballs from Tim Wakefield. And then after that from Joe Necro. And after that from Phil Necro, God rest somebody's soul if they don't happen to be with us anymore. Why is that? Because he wanted to learn to catch knuckleballs that were going to be thrown to him by Lamar Jackson.
And then when he was done with that, he stood outside M&T Bank Stadium to see the lore, the history that is Ravens football.
Yep.
And he stared at a picture of Justin Tucker.
Right. And he recognized that it'd be great, if I could catch a lot of passes from Tim Wakefield who throws knuckleballs, maybe I could get up on this promotional banner and eliminate the greatest kicker in the history of the NFL. So then his next move before rookie camp is he went to Nebraska. And I'm reading the story like, why would he go to Nebraska? Well, he went to the plains where it's super windy because he wanted to catch passes into the wind so he could see exactly what the trajectory of Lamar Jackson's knuckleballs, what they look like. And so I think he might be ready. You might be right.
He could have just spent the summer with Jeff Sims, that Huskers QB.
I know.
And gotten the same treatment. Here's what I'll say.
All right, so are we on this 275 or not?
I'm kind of in on it because Jackson Smith and Jigba has to fight for food from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Jordan Addison similarly fighting with JJ and Hawkinson. I obviously would love to have better odds on that, but he's among the favorites for a reason.
Seattle will run more than us.
They will.
Seattle with, they got Kenny Walker and that UCLA kid,
Charbonnet.
Yep, they like him too.
So, that's a cool name.
So that's their 1-2. But just philosophically speaking, Pete runs more than I think Kevin's ever going to run. That plays into it too.
I'm in on it.
Addison leading all rookie receivers in yardage plus 275.
I'm throwing 100 on it.
That ain't bad.
Still got 7 in my
pocket. All right, what about this? Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year, 35-1. 35-1.
He's got, I believe, the 4th worst odds to win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
By the way, Andy Reid is worse.
Really?
Andy Reid is plus 4,000, which is bizarre to me.
Didn't Daboll win it last year?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Well, first-year head coaches is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The coach who wins Coach of the Year most often, more than any other coach, any other trend, is a first-year head coach who takes over a bad team and reverses it. Why DeMeco Ryans to me is a great opportunity here.
For Kevin O'Connell,
KOC would have to win like 14, 15.
No, that's
games.
the key. He has to actually say, all you jackasses that said the 13 wins with smoke and mirrors, I got to come back with one of the toughest schedules in the NFL in 2023 and shove it down everybody's throat. So, at 35-1, I'm going to put 100 on it and root for 13 or more victories and see what happens. Then get sniped by DeMeco Ryans anyway.
Yeah, speaking of first-year coaches, if the Arizona Cardinals find their way to 7 wins or more, Jonathan Gannon should win this award. I mean, that talent poor bunch that we saw here last week.
Yeah, that's bad.
Clayton Tune at quarterback, and then they're trading for Josh Dobbs, and they're basically giving away DeAndre Hopkins. So if they can get up to 7, and speaking of season totals, the Cardinals are 4.5. Now the unders minus 150.
Yeah,
I would do the 15 to win 10 under 4.5. Would you?
Yeah. I would.
Because 4.5, they're kind of begging. Well, most people bet overs in the first place. It's a human nature thing.
It is.
Because of what they want to pull for.
Yeah.
So they're at 4.5, they're kind of begging you to bet the over on this.
They are. It's such a low number.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might even be down to 4, but I do believe it'll go under that. All right. Here we go. Minnesota beats Kansas City in the Super Bowl. 160-1. 160-1 if you identify it right now. Minnesota beats the Chiefs in the Super Bowl right now, 160-1.
So the Chiefs are the AFC favorite, right? So we'll put the Chiefs in.
Yeah.
Now you need the Vikings to get to the Super Bowl, which hasn't happened in really our lifetimes. And then they need to go beat the Chiefs. But if it happens, you get paid $160 for every one of yours that you put up.
Let me guess Nordo's response. I'll put 100 on that.
I'm going to put 20 on it. I'm going to put 20 on it. No, that's preposterous. You are so much better, and we actually talked about it without you here earlier in the week, how good you've been in the last 5-6 years of
the March-April play?
The March-April, you have found your way to the right answer, and you're brilliant at it.
Thank you.
I am not. And so as much as I love my team and as much as I want to root for making money on their success, I'm not. I most likely in real life, $0 on that particular scenario.
All right. Well, if the Minnesota Vikings miss the playoffs, the Minnesota Vikings missing the playoffs, minus 125.
Well, you can't bet on that.
Meaning
we're going to repeat as division champs. So
meaning you need to put up your $12.50 to win the house's 10 for a scoop 250. Vikings missing the playoffs, minus 125. What's the pragmatic value with that?
I don't like it. I mean, the Vegas is saying Vikings won't make the playoffs. I think the Vikings will make the playoffs. So I'm not betting it. This would be the emotional financial hedge right here. Because if they miss the playoffs, we will be sad. But you could go cash this ticket, and that would be the other side of it. So this is the perfect emotional hedge.
Yeah.
You should throw 100 mythical dollars on this, so that you're going to well, actually. 125 mythical dollars to win 100, and so you at the end of December can go cash your ticket, feel a little bit better about yourself, daub your tears of a Vikings missed playoff with a $100 bill on each side. That's why you should make that bet.
This if Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, he's non-better guy, but if he were to bet, if he were to spot up, and this could resonate with Minnesota Vikings fans too because of the past performances, I think this one would be quite juicy for a lot of people. The Vikings losing in the wild card round of the playoffs. Vikings losing in the wild card round of the playoffs.
Happen?
3.5. You plus 3.5 to 1. So that means you put up your $10, saying first week of the playoffs we are going to lose. If you are right, your $10 makes you $35, and you scoop $45. What y'all think?
No, I'm not betting on that.
I know you're not betting on it, but what do you think of the chances of it happening, meshing with a little plus 350?
It just happened last year.
You're getting good money on it at 3.5 to 1.
It just happened last year.
You certainly are. And the pretense of how close this division could be. Are they in a wild card spot versus hosting the playoff game, division champion? The final 3 games of the year are going to be meat grinders with Detroit, 2 of the 3, and then Packers stuffed in the middle.
Yeah.
So if I was not so emotionally attached, I could appreciate the idea of throwing some cash and getting 3.5 return on the Vikings doing what actually statistically most teams do, is they lose wild card weekend, and so damn it.
Now you're in. You're in.
It's a good bet.
I mean,
your Golden Gophers are undefeated. They're 1-0. Hunting Bernsey analyzes that victory when 9 to noon continues into the final hour on the Friday Football